Hey there folks, this is Josh, Stoney Ridge Farmer. Welcome back to the farm vlog. We are not on the Stoney Ridge Farm. We are on Green Pastures Farm with Greg Judy.
Yes.
The man, the myth, the legend. So we've been here at Greg's place for about 4 days now. This is your fall grazing school.
Correct.
So I've been out here at the grazing school and we want to talk to you guys a little bit about food security, about what you're eating, and about the reason behind this regenerative agriculture movement that's going on here. Greg is one of the inspirations for what I've been doing here on my farm, as well as folks like Joel Salatin and Polyface Farm. There's just Gabe Brown. There's just so many folks out there that are really helping to push the future of agriculture in a direction that's regenerative.
Correct.
So that's what we're here for today, guys. So stay tuned. Stoney Ridge Farm, Stoney Ridge, Stoney Ridge Farm. Woo! So Greg, you're talking about CAFOs, a concentrated animal feeding operation.
Yes.
What is the difference in the nutrition quality of the beef that's raised on the farm here versus the beef that's raised in a concentrated animal feeding operation? And kind of go into detail on the antibiotic side of things, whether your animals need antibiotics and whether animals that live in a concentrated animal area like that would need an antibiotic.
Yeah, so when animals are stressed, like they are in a CAFO, they're up against each other with a bunch of strangers that they haven't been around. They have to put antibiotics in the feed to keep the animals from getting sick. Out here in the pasture, these animals aren't stressed.
Right.
They don't need antibiotics. And animals moved every day on the fresh, healthy, clean grass. They're not going to get sick. And so you're basically letting the animals back in their natural environment. And so they're harvesting plants that are real high in beta carotenes, and they're putting all that beautiful grass flavor and that healthy grass into their meat, where with the corn, you're actually feeding them something that their gut's not designed for. And that's where you get the E. coli from. It upsets the gut. In a grass-fed animal, in the rumen, that's the bugs that chew up the grass. There is no chance of getting E. coli because the pH is 7. Once you put corn in there, it goes acidic. It upsets their stomach. They're not designed to eat it.
Right.
And so we're making them do something they're not really designed to do. So Josh, why are we feeding them all this corn? Well, after World War II, we came home with this. They found out that ammonium nitrate, which we were making bombs out of, if you put that out on the soil, guess what?
Grass goes crazy.
Yeah. It grows a lot of corn. And now all of a sudden we got 200 bushel an acre of corn. What are we going to do with all this corn? Let's try feeding it to them cows.
Yeah, watch them plump up.
Yeah, watch them plump up. And so here's what we get, folks. Everybody says, but Greg, if everybody switched to the way you're grazing cattle, we couldn't be able to feed the world. We got to have CAFOs. I'm like, no, hold on, stop. If we took all the land, the arable land that's being cropped right now, and put it back to grass and put animals back on the land, it's done. It's done. We could feed tons of people, but everybody, it's going to be tough to change because we have a system set up that benefits the huge packers, the big agrochemical company. It's set up to that, warming their pockets pretty good, but it's not good for the consumer.
Right.
It's not. If you get a grass-fed beef and you eat a grain-fed beef, the color of the fat's different. On a grain-fed, the fat will be white. On a grass-fed animal, it's going to be yellow. That's the yellow from the beta carotene from the plants. You're capturing sunlight. So Josh, you and I in the cattle business, that's what we're doing. We're capturing sunlight through a blade of grass. The animal eats that and turns it into a valuable protein.
Absolutely. And putting fertilizer down, putting the chemical fertilizer down, there's an ecosystem in the soil that you don't see, that we don't see every day, but you think about it and I think about it as a farmer. You guys typically won't think about it. As a consumer going through the grocery store, you're not thinking about, well, what about the soil microbes? Or what about, what's it called? What's the word I'm looking for with fungus.
Yeah, the mycorrhizal.
Yeah, the mycorrhizal fungi that's
Yep.
down there benefiting all the soil here. So you're killing it. You're sterilizing your land
Yep.
by pouring chemicals on there versus pouring chemicals out of a cow's butt. Every time it poops, a cow puts about 50 pounds of manure out on the
Yep.
soil every day.
And it should be beautiful stuff that makes you grow more grass, but if you're putting all that chemical in the cow, it ends up in the manure pile. It kills all the soil life.
Right, right. Worming cows. So what
Yep.
I experienced on my farm when I bought my first batch of cows was as soon as he loaded them on the trailer, he said, "Hey man, I went ahead and wormed them all for you." And I was like, "Oh no!" So those manure pats from November of last year are still sitting there.
Yeah.
For the first 3 months that those cows were on the farm, those manure pats are still sitting there like charcoal bricks, and they're not going anywhere.
That's not natural.
No, not at all.
Yeah. The earthworms, they should be up there eating those, but when you put all that stuff in your cows, it comes out the back. The earthworm's like, I'm not eating that.
Right, right. It's the ivermectin, I guess, puts something in the manure
It kills the dung
that
beetles.
kills it. Yeah, kills the dung beetles,
Yep.
kills the worms. If it
Yep.
kills worms coming out of a cow's butt, it kills worms that come out of the ground.
Yep.
I mean, they're
Yep.
the same. It's
Yep.
noxious to them, and it's like putting worms in battery
So
acid.
what we need to do, Josh, is to get back to what happened for thousands of years, is to look what happens in nature. And if we can, and everybody's, "Oh, Greg, you're a nature Nazi." No, I'm not. I'm just being common sense. We need to eat food as close to the area as it's grown. So if it's growing on that pasture across the road over there, that's where you need to go buy it at and eat that animal when it comes off that pasture. We've converted vegetarians now. They come out and do a farm tour and they're like, "No, we're not going to eat animals. We're all against that." And they see how happy and healthy our animals are. And you can tell looking at them, those vegetarians are not healthy. They
Yeah.
need some meat.
Yeah.
And we've saved the lives of several vegetarians. They look like they're about to die. They started eating grass-fed meat. They're the fit of health now.
Yep. You have to understand that
You do.
And what you guys can do, what we all can do, is look at a way to buy local. The argument that I've had selling beef off of my farm, selling hamburger meat. I sold to a neighbor recently, and it's $6 a pound. $6 a pound isn't that bad for a grass-fed hamburger. And he's like, "Oh man, I can go to Walmart and buy it for $2.99 a pound." I'm like, you could buy a hamburger garbage from Walmart or from whatever store. I'm not picking on Walmart. I shop at Walmart, but you can buy food from places that has had beef from 1,000 cows in it, from who knows where.
Where?
Yeah, that have
Yeah.
been wading belly deep in manure. And if they're not wading belly deep in manure, there's odds are that all 4 of those cows' hooves have been through manure, and their nose has been in
Yes,
manure
yes.
for weeks and months.
Yes.
So
And here's another one. They took away the country of origin labeling. It's called cool. They rejected that, I don't know how many years ago it was. Now, beef's coming in from all over the world. You don't know what's being happened to that beef, but it comes in the United States, they stamp it USDA.
yeah,
Like it was grown here in the United States. It wasn't grown here in the United States. It was grown over in some foreign country, and it came over in a ship. They stamped it.
yep.
It's like it was grown across the street. No, it wasn't.
Froze it and put it on a
Yep.
boat.
Yep, frozen, put in a boat.
Next time you go in the grocery store, look at the meat that's packaged back there in the back, and put your finger on it and see if it's frozen. And roll over that package and see if it says sustainably raised in the U.S., grass-fed beef. And it could be grass-fed beef from anywhere in the world. But
Yes.
for beef to be labeled grass-fed beef, it only has to have, 30% of its diet as grass-fed
Yep.
beef.
Yep.
So, is that grass-fed beef? Is a free-range chicken a chicken with a door that it can walk out and get 2 feet of sunlight? Is that a free-range chicken?
No.
It's not. That's
No.
And like you said, buying local. So what you guys can do is buy local food from your local farm. Seek it out. Don't spend $1,200 on a brand new giant TV and drive your Cadillac Escalade. Think about yourself and your health, and stop thinking of your food and your body as a machine, because we are not machines. We are spiritual beings just as much, and we don't want to get all hippie-fied here, but we are.
Josh, if you went out there in your car and you ran out of gas, I don't have it, I'm just going to pour some water in there.
Yeah.
Pour some water in your gas tank. See how far you go. It's the same way in the human body. When you're hungry, just go grab a big handful of chips and maybe some M&Ms and knock it down with a Pepsi, your body is going to just explode with that kind of health. It's not going to do well.
Yeah.
You need to eat nutrient-dense food. And with the soil, folks, our soil is getting worse and worse and worse because it's all blowing away due to our farming practices. It's either blowing away or it's washing away. With regenerative type ranching, grazing, farming practices, they're building soil. They're building soil, healthy soil. You eat food out of that, you're going to have a healthy life.
Absolutely. Instead of buying into a system that sells you something. In other words, a couple weeks ago we did a video about buying hay versus baling hay versus baling hay on your own farm, and how much you've got to spend to put, from dollars and cents perspective, not in ecological perspective, just dollars and cents. Sterilizing the soil with chemicals, having something grow up, boom, just like eating that garbage food. You put garbage in and garbage comes out.
Yep.
And your health may not show it this week, it may not show it next month, it may not show it in 20 years.
That's right.
But you can tell by your skin, you can tell by your bowel habits. I mean, you can just tell when you're eating quality food, and you will feel better. Stop the priority of entertainment. The priority of spending all your money on an entertainment trip to Disneyland and then complaining about paying $6 a pound for good
fast food. I don't have time to cook.
Yeah.
Well, get a crock pot.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Plug it in and put a roast in there.
Yep. Come home in the evening, nothing tastes better.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or a chicken. You put a chicken and a pastured chicken in there.
Oh yeah.
Josh, there's a good website. It's called eatwild.com, and it has a list of producers all over the United States that are doing more grazing type practices. And I would recommend seek those out for every state that you live in. Go visit a farmer and see what he's doing.
Absolutely. They want to share.
Yeah.
So Greg, let's talk about how our palate in this country, and palate meaning our taste buds, what we associate food flavors with. So we've got sweet, we've got salty, we've got gamey, we've got spicy. And if you guys can think of other flavors, let me know. But we've been trained by this industrialized, commercialized food system to only understand those flavors, and there's more to it.
Definitely. I mean, when people talk about grass-fed meat versus grain-fed, for instance, and grass-fed meat that's been fed grass its whole life and all the other different forages in your farm, it takes up that flavor. And when I eat a piece of grain-fed beef, it may be tender, but to me it tastes like liver. It just doesn't have any flavor to it. But when you eat grass-fed, it's wholesome. You can almost taste the grass in it. And your body, when you get done eating it, you're talking about having upset stomach and all. I go, huh. When I eat a grain-fed one, I don't know if it's antibiotics in it or if it's whatever it is, my stomach does not like it. I can't eat a hamburger at a fast food joint. I can't do it.
Is it hamburger? What is it?
I don't know, but my gut is telling me, Greg, this is not going well down here. You don't need to be eating that. And so I will not eat a hamburger anymore at a fast food restaurant because it makes my stomach upset. So I can go by a field out here they sprayed Roundup on. A month ago, I just smelled it going to move the cows a while ago. It's been a month and I can still smell it.
Yeah.
That's an inferior smell. Our bodies are not destined to be taking that up. And the GMO crops now, they're spraying them with Roundup.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And we're eating that.
Yeah. So you buy the food and or what ate the Roundup Ready genetically modified food, and we can get into all sorts of science about genetically modified food. But in my mind, and I'm sure in your mind, it's wrong to mess with Mother Nature. Selective breeding, which is what you're doing here on the farm, is not genetically modifying.
No.
It's selectively breeding for the health of the animals, and the health of the animals directly transfers to the health of the consumer of that animal.
That's right.
Same thing with grains and with cereal grains, like you would eat a bowl of cereal or whatever. So
I don't think people understand an apple's not an apple. If an apple's grown on really rich regenerative type soil, it's got a lot of minerals in it and a lot of microbes and earthworms, and that soil's treated well, those apples are going to be more nutrient dense and more healthy for you than an apple that's been sprayed and nuked and chemical fertilizer put on the ground around it to make it grow. That's a different kind of apple.
Yeah.
And so we need to realize that when we eat food, it needs to be nutrient dense. You don't need to eat as much of it either, Josh.
Right.
Obesity, do we have a problem in the United States with obesity?
You have a problem with obesity along with the obesity and malnutrition, which seems odd. It seems odd to think about that. You are obese and you're malnourished because you are eating cardboard that's flavored as food.
There you go.
And that's it.
There you go. That's what it is.
I'll tell you something I did when I was about 23 years old. I was poor. I was dirt poor. And I lived in a trailer park. And I thought, you know what? I wonder what it would taste like if I took a piece of cardboard and put a little bacon grease on it and put a little salt and pepper on it, and I tried it.
Wasn't too bad?
It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. So, you know, we're buying something that is supposed to be food, but it's not food. It's not nutrient dense, which, you know, brings you to the same thing. That apple that you buy at the store versus an apple that you buy locally off a local farm is much more nutrient dense. You're just buying a ball of sugar water.
Yes.
Oftentimes in a store. So seek out those non-GMOs. Seek out that stuff that's organic, certified organic. That's a dirty word to some people.
It is. It really is. And you hear organic. Oh, it's that hippie stuff. No. If you eating food that doesn't have all this crap sprayed on it, you know, the canola now they're spraying it with glyphosate to make it ripen.
Yeah.
Right before they harvest it.
Yeah.
Do you think that glyphosate's still on the beans? Yes.
Yeah.
And we're eating that.
Whether it's been proven or not that this stuff causes illness, or whether it's been proven or not that it causes cancer, or whether you know it's the wrong thing to eat. It's not the right thing to eat. And whether it's just been dusted with this product or whatever you put on the soil remains there for years and years and years. And everything goes into the soil. Everything goes into the watershed. And the watershed and the soil is where we start with our health in our nation, really.
Absolutely. You know, Josh, they say we have a water issue in the United States. We have a water infiltration issue.
Yeah.
So when we get rain, the soil has become so capped because there's no organic matter left in it. We've tilled it so much that when the rain hits, it forms a cap.
Yeah.
Down to the ocean it goes. We're not keeping the rainwater on the land where it belongs. And now we're building terraces and piping to get the water off the fields quicker.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense.
What is the hard pan? Now, you guys may not think about this. When you go to buy stuff at the grocery store, you're not thinking about the hard pan. You're not thinking about the mycorrhizal fungi in the land. You're thinking about how good that Easy Mac is going to taste. What is a hard pan? Tell me about hard. We learned about this in the grazing school this past weekend, guys. And if you haven't seen that video, I'll post a link at the end of this video. What is a hard pan?
So the hard pan was developed on our land across the whole world when they invented the moldboard plow. So when they got a plow that could turn the soil up, whether it was pulled by an oxen or maybe human power back in the old days, when you pull that soil up and flip it upside down, that plowshare forms a hard pan. And after hundreds and hundreds of years of plowing that soil, that hard pan forms this impenetrable layer where the plant roots can't break through it anymore. And so there's all kinds of minerals and nutrients below that, but the plant roots can't get through that hard pan. And so with healthy farming practices, where you have a lot of green forage out there, the roots can break through it. But with conventional farming, they don't. So that's why we're putting all these chemicals on there to grow all this food, is because they can't break through the hard pan anymore.
Right. And above the hard pan is where your nutrients are. And you've got to think about the soil and the plants that you have in your soil.
Yep.
Those roots need to penetrate that hard pan and break it back up. So if you guys are considering regenerative farming, consider planting native plants that will break down through that hard pan and help to regenerate the soil. And again, your health starts with the soil. It's as simple as this. Think about this. You go out and you lay out in the hot sun, right over here. Say you lay out in the hot sun all day long, exposed to nothing. What's your health going to do? what's your health going to do? Now, if we lay up underneath these shade trees, and this is on a larger scale, if you lay up underneath these shade trees right here, what's your health going to do there? You're not going to roast underneath these shade trees, and it's not going to adversely affect your health. The same thing goes with tillage. Okay, you look out at these beautiful farms, and there's nothing prettier than a beautifully tilled piece of land, but it's just roasting it. It's roasting every bit of the nutrient that goes into the food. So all of a sudden, the nutrient becomes N, P, and K.
Yep.
That's it, and that's what you are. Evidently, all we are is 3 elements.
Yep.
It wasn't done like this 100 years ago, guys.
No, there's a really neat structure to the soil. It's you've got your bacteria and you've got your mycorrhizal fungi. The mycorrhizal fungi is a living organism that sources minerals and sugars for the plants. Well, in a natural system, that's how it works. But when you start putting down all this fertilizer and all this plowing and tilling the soil, it kills the mycorrhizal fungi.
Yeah.
And it's the workhorse of our soil. We don't have it anymore.
Yeah. So, do you want to eat N, P, and K? Nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Do you want to just eat? Are you just made of N, P, and K, or are you a spiritual being? We're all connected to the land and the soil, and it's something that's important. Greg, what do you think that people can do starting today and continuing to do this day after day, week after week, not just doing it for a week, but doing it for a year, 2 years, 3 years, and for the rest of your life? What is it that people can do, the first step that they can make toward regenerative farming without even being a farmer?
Well, there's several steps you can make. One is to make your voice be heard that you're tired of eating cardboard.
Yeah.
You're not going to take it anymore.
No more fried cardboard.
I'm not going to feed my children cardboard anymore. I want real food for my family, and you ought to be standing on the hood of your car screaming at the microphone to every legislature that'll listen to you. And you're going to have to let these people know you're not going to put up with cheap food anymore. You don't want cheap, unhealthy food for your family. You want healthy food. And the way to do that is to reward the farmers that are doing it.
Yep.
You don't reward the people that are destroying the land. And now our whole system's set up with subsidies to pay people that are doing these practices that are destroying the land. They get subsidies. But the people that are doing it correctly, they don't get anything.
No,
Nothing.
You're on your own. I'm on my own. We're totally on our own.
You'll get nothing. So here's the deal. If your soil organic matter, if you took a measurement, and you measured your soil organic matter, which is the life and all the humus in the soil, if that keeps going up every year, well, then you ought to get a payment for that.
Yeah.
And if your soil organic matter is going the other direction, you don't get nothing. Because you're not farming correctly.
So
that's just some of the things that come out of the top.
Drive you crazy.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
it
it just absolutely drives you crazy.
And measure the erosion. Go over on the side of the fields, and if there's a big pile of dirt that the farmer lost off his field, he didn't keep it covered.
Right.
There's no sense in that. There's a great organization out there, folks. It's called No Till on the Plains. These folks get it. They're crop farmers, but they keep the cropland covered with something green growing all the time. So when it rains, they don't lose their soil. It's called No Till on the Plains. Check those people out. They got it. They figured it out. We need more people to farm like that.
Yep. We need you guys, us included, to grow your own food. Try it. Try growing your own food. Buy local. Look for that non-GMO. Try not to feed into this commercialized factory farm system. I'm telling you, it's affecting the health of our nation. As a registered nurse, I see it every day, and that's why I started farming, because I wanted to make a change in the way that I lived, what I ate, and the way that you live and what you eat. And that's why Greg's doing it too. We're soil farmers.
I'm concerned about the food insecurity of our nation. I mean, if COVID did anything, it exposed how weak and broken our food system is.
Absolutely.
Last year, in the height of this thing, in the springtime, there was people went into Sam's there in Columbia. There was not a single hot dog. There wasn't anything. There was no meat left on the meat counter. None.
Everybody's worried about food and toilet paper. I don't know.
Yeah,
about that
I don't
thing.
get the toilet paper.
They've never seen leaves before, evidently. What did we do before toilet paper?
Or magazine.
Yeah,
or whatever.
absolute newspaper. You know, so. That goes to show you where our mindset is how are we going to wipe our butts?
Yeah. It's just nuts.
So guys, support your local farmer. I hope this has inspired you a little bit to think about food and where you get your food and what you're buying into. When you're walking through the grocery store, don't rake off the cheapest stuff on the shelf. Pick that up, look at the label, read what you're buying, and when it has 75 ingredients in it, something's wrong. Something is wrong there. When it has just all these piles of ingredients, what does your beef have in it?
Grass.
Just grass. So if you have carrots on your farm, and you were to, or say you were to can some corn, what would be in that? Salt and corn.
Yep.
Salt, maybe a little butter.
Yeah, a little butter.
Yeah.
Yep.
So seek out stuff like that, guys. When you look at the labels on the food that you're buying and think about what you're doing, that's what this is all about. Also, we all live, a lot of us live in places where we never set foot on the soil. So you'll walk out the door, you're on concrete, you're on wood, you're on asphalt, and that's all you see all day long. Think about that, guys. Take a weekend, take some time, go through the forest, go to a farm, visit a place, and get your hands and your feet in the soil again. It will change your life. It really will.
Yep, that's well said. Well said. I couldn't say it any better.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, thanks, Greg. I appreciate all your time
You
here.
bet.
We're
Thank
having
you.
fun. We're staying in the house that Greg grew up here in central Missouri, right smack in the middle of central Missouri. It is absolutely beautiful country. Hope to see you guys again. You'll see Greg on the channel again, and check out greenpasturesfarm.net. Greg's got some awesome books out there on regenerative farming, regenerative ranching, and they're good reads. Even if you're not farming or if you're just considering farming, just the thought process behind feeding yourself and feeding your family in a healthy manner so that you live a long, healthy life. Okay? So don't be obese and get in the kitchen, but don't be obese and malnourished, and get in the kitchen with your kids and learn how to cook together. Have some fun.
Yep.
Thanks, Greg.
You bet.
We'll see you guys next time. Woo!
Come on down to the Stoney Ridge, bring your wife.